Please welcome our next Microsoft speakers, Prachi, Mishra, and Aastha Patel. Today they'll be presenting their session, Copilot. This is your captain speaking. Jetset with Copilot capabilities in Dynamics 365 Sales. Please stick around after Prachi and Aastha's session for a live Q&A.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for our session on customer engagement. I wanted to give a huge thanks to DynamicsCon for allowing us to present our content, and we're really excited to dig into the session. So today we will be presenting on Copilot. This is your captain speaking. I'm Prachi Mishra, a digital technical specialist from Microsoft, and with me I have Aastha.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Aastha Patel, also a digital technical specialist at Microsoft.
And both of us focus on the Copilot capabilities in Dynamics and Copilot for Sales. So during today's presentation, we're going to be talking about how you as a captain can commandeer your plane to help get those intelligent suggestions from your Copilot, whether that's in Dynamics Sales CRM or in the Microsoft Productivity Suite. So like I mentioned, there's two distinct differences, and we do this because at Microsoft, we're really rapidly innovating with the embedded AI capabilities. So with the core sales offering, we really want to help our customers not only adopt CRM, but also streamline the sales processes, decrease that manual burden, and above all, drive revenue growth with efficiency and productivity. And that's why we have natural language AI-powered chat in the Dynamics CRM suite. So in the sidecar or the dashboard, you're able to conversationally chat about your CRM data. So instead of having to manually dig through all of your different records, you can actually ask, hey, what are my top 5 opportunities that are closing next week? So that's what Copilot in Sales looks like. Whereas Copilot for Sales is what Aastha is going to be covering in the latter half of today's demo, which is actually your AI-driven sales assistant, and it uses the power of Microsoft 365 Copilot in your productivity suite. So what you're able to do is bring in CRM data into Outlook, Teams, Word, OneNote, and more. So now that we've covered the differences at a high level, let's actually go and dig in deeper into the embedded Copilot capabilities in Dynamics Sales. So if you currently use Dynamics Sales Enterprise or Premium today, you'll be able to take advantage of out of the box these native AI capabilities. First, I want to point your attention to the dashboard. This is going to be your landing page for all things Copilot in Dynamics Sales. Here, you're going to be given a prompt guide, so you're able to actually have different questions already populated here. You don't have to be a prompt engineer by any means. Everything you ask is going to be leveraged from the CRM data itself. Additionally, you're going to have embedded visualizations to quickly assess performance, summarize any of those related sales records to stay on top of your deals. We know how much a salesperson has in their plate, whether that's responding to emails, customer inquiries, or even summarizing the latest updates on the records to give to their managers. And with that, Copilot in Sales also gives you links to easy access, summarize sales records like opportunities, accounts, contacts, and more. And finally, no matter where you are in Dynamics CRM, you're going to have a sidecar experience to get those contextual insights, such as the latest customer news from Bing, so you don't have to invest in third-party RSS feeds. So with that, let's actually dive into the demo. I'm going to exit the slides. So right now you can see we are currently in my demo environment. And this is the dashboard I was talking about earlier. At the top, we have a prompt guide that's showing me what I can ask questions on to get information, stay ahead. As you can see, I asked Copilot, hey, show me what my pipeline looks like. And what I love about this is I'm a very visual person. I like to see images to help me understand information. And right off the bat, within seconds, I have my deal tracker view that shows me all of my different opportunities in this format. So the circles, the size of the circles represents the revenue associated with the opportunity. You'll notice it's super interactive. So as I hover over each circle, I get the details associated with my pipeline. The colors of the circles actually correspond to the stage of the opportunity cycle. So again, super helpful for me as a seller to understand where are my opportunities visually. What does it look like as the new close date comes nearer? So clearly I have a lot of work to do. There's quite a few opportunities that are a little past the due date. So I need to go and reconcile those, update them as needed. But without leaving this view, I can also see what my sales funnel looks like. So again, I have quite a few ops that are in the beginning of the sales cycle. So now I know that, hey, my focus should be to actually transition these opportunities to the later stage so that I can actually close them. But as you can see, everything here is very conversational. I'm able to chat about my data in a really conversational way. I don't have to dig in through so many different clicks and screens. And that's because we want to make salespeople like myself that much more efficient and that much more productive. Because I have a one-on-one with my manager later today. I have to be sure that I know what's going on, even though I just came back from vacation. So as a salesperson, as we continue to look at this visualization, I can also ask for a summary on one of these opportunities. I have so many different things in my plate, it can be hard to remember what the important items are regarding this opportunity. But here, as soon as I ask for that summary, Copilot gives me an intelligent read on the estimated revenue, the estimated close date, as well as the key information on this opportunity, such as what the purchase timeframe looks like, what is the estimated revenue expected from this op, what's the current pipeline. So what would have traditionally taken me a good 30 minutes to review all my opportunities, find out what the latest interactions are, and see a visualization of my ops, I'm able to get within just a few clicks with this embedded Copilot dashboard directly in Dynamics Sales. And we're here to make CRM that much more intuitive and exciting to use. I know these little icons are just great for me visually and those out there with accessibility needs to be able to filter and sift through information that much more efficiently. And instead of having to be really stressed when my manager pings me on Teams saying, what's going on with this opportunity, I can actually copy it directly from here, and I'll know that this is the latest and greatest information, and it's summarized with the power of Copilot. I can copy this, make changes as I send it out in Teams. But again, I want to mention this is Copilot. You're ultimately the captain deciding, what intelligent suggestions do I want to take from my Copilot before I hit send. So you do have that human component because we want AI to amplify the human experience and really make you that much more productive. So that's what it looks like in this dashboard view. We can also dig into the different prompts. You had seen the prompt guide at the top earlier, but you can also dig in further here. You'll notice I can get information about specific sales records with SharePoint. So if you have files that are saved, you can pull those, which I'm going to show you in a second. You can also see which account generates the most business. Another great way to really dig into the KPIs and metrics that as a sales organization, we often have to, report to our leadership. I can also ask additional questions like, what is the conversion rate for my deals? So as I meet with my manager, they can understand what the average deal size and cycle time looks like for my one opportunities. So we can brainstorm together as we progress to the next quarter of our fiscal year. So this is what some of the capabilities looks like in this dashboard view. I want to pivot quickly over to what the sidecar experience looks like. So as a salesperson, I started my day right off in the dashboard, reviewed high level what I needed to do, but now it's time for me to really dig in deeper and go through my flows of work. And here you'll notice I've now transferred over to Alex Baker, who is one of the leads that I'm currently working with the account tray research. Now, in the center, instead of having to manually read through the timeline history section, which is often a really great comprehensive history of our interactions, my Copilot summarizes with the power of natural language processing what the key highlights are for me to take away from this lead. So I don't have to manually read through every single, email and note. I have Copilot summarizing this for me, and I can copy this and send it over to my deal team as we continue to work on this lead to convert her to an opportunity. Additionally, you'll notice on the side, I have my Copilot sidecar open and ready. Another great thing about the embedded AI capabilities is that it's very easy to use. We want AI to be something your organization is able to adopt very quickly. And personally, I was one of the worst early adopters of AI. And I will say with Copilot, it makes it so easy because it's always alongside you as that sales assistant in every flow of work. You'll notice it's a very similar use case as to the dashboard earlier. So earlier we had the prompt guide. Again, we have that at the top. So you don't have to be a prompt engineer. You just have to have curiosity to learn more about your sales data. So I've already asked my Copilot, hey, give me a lead summary for Alex Baker. I have the highlights here, but what I love about this is, again, I have the ability to read through some of the key information. It also hyperlinks any important CRM records. So again, this is your single source of truth. You never have to leave Dynamics to get these AI capabilities if you don't want to. Additionally, due to the seamless and native integration with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I'm also able to do some sales nav outreach before I reach out to Alex. And I don't have to jump into a separate tab for LinkedIn and get distracted with other LinkedIn posts, as I often do. I'm able to stay streamlined and message and connect with Alex directly from my Copilot sidecar. And additionally, I had talked about how I have files saved, whether that's, different PDF documents that Alex has shared with me or a PowerPoint deck that I'm preparing for a sales meeting. I can actually show these related files from SharePoint and surface them directly here. So again, instead of having to context switch into a brand new tab, go through all of my different SharePoint files, I can instead ask Copilot, show me what those files are. Again, cutting that manual time in half and making life that much more easier for myself. And finally, I can do my account research directly in the sidecar view. So I tend to get distracted quite a bit as a neurodivergent person. So I really like that I'm able to have this single flow of work and as a seller, be that much more on top of my game as I continue to meet my manager for our one-on-one. So that actually concludes my portion of the demo on what those embedded AI capabilities look like in dynamic sales. I'm now going to hand it off to Aastha, who's going to be talking you through how you can extend those natural language capabilities across all of your different flows of work in the Microsoft Productivity Suite.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Prachi. That was a great job. I'm going to try to match that level of confidence over there, but let's go ahead and talk about Copilot for Sales. So being part of the sales organization myself, we all know that a CRM is only as good as the data that's in it and how easy it is to use. So writing email responses from scratch can be time intensive and extremely repetitive. So the time you're spending searching for relevant information, going back and forth between application, whether that be your CRM, your SharePoint documents, all the emails, or the emails that are living in your Outlook, bouncing back and forth. So hours each day is being devoted to recapping those. And a personal challenge for me is trying to take notes during a meeting and recapping a meeting in a way that doesn't distract me from the conversation and the attention to the customer. And these are very common challenges that lead to, more clicks, more duplicate efforts, and ultimately low user adoption of a CRM tool. And so that's why Microsoft introduced Copilot for Sales. So it's basically a solution that's made specifically for the seller experience. It connects Office 365 and Teams to your CRM. And now we can automatically capture, access, and register the data to really eliminate that manual data entry and that admin burden. So with the power of AI, Copilot for Sales is really empowering sellers to be more connected with their customers and it resulting in hopefully more personalized conversations and personalized customer engagement as well. So some of the key benefits that I do want to highlight is first and foremost that sellers are staying in their flow of work in a familiar application, right? So we're using Office 365, we're staying in Outlook, we're staying in Teams. So there's reduction of clicks with automated data entry that Copilot for Sales provides for you. We also have conversational intelligence capabilities for team calls. So it includes executive call summaries, transcripts, as well as helpful KPIs and customized reminders that are served up by AI to really act as your personal coach, designed to help sellers move each sale forward. And some of you may already be familiar with M365 Copilot, but I again wanted to introduce you to Copilot for Sales. Again, it's a role-based AI assistant that really meets sellers right where they work, inside the tools that we use every day. Integrates seamlessly with Microsoft 365 apps, and it connects directly to your CRM. So whether that's Dynamics CRM or Salesforce, you're able to connect and bring in all of that information as well. The real power of Copilot for Sales really lies in how it enhances the seller experience by offering real-time insights, recommended actions, and up-to-date CRM data, all within the apps that sellers are already familiar with. So at the risk of sounding a little bit cheesy, Copilot for Sales is really changing the game. It's helping sellers focus on what they do best by transforming CRM from a perceived burden into an empowerment tool, one that boosts their success. So let's go ahead and dive into the demo and see all of this in action. So I'm going to start my day off in Outlook like I normally would as a sales user. I have a email from Brad Fisher, and it is called a follow-up inquiry. Now, I do know a little bit about Brad, but I do need a refresher on when was the last time I worked with him, what was the past conversation. I can quickly go ahead and open up Copilot for Sales. So it is a sidecar experience. It's going to be similar to what we saw in Prachi's demo, but this is now opening up a sidecar in Outlook for us. And you'll see we have a bunch of information about Brad in here. So taking a look at the email itself, Copilot is pulling in Brad's information that lives in my Dynamics CRM. So I get some key sales information. So basically Cliff Notes, hey, I am the owner of the account that Brad's a part of. He's the account manager. He's the primary contact, as well as the estimated revenue for the latest opportunity that we have open with Brad. We also get a lot more details, but we are given references as well. So if we wanted to actually dig in deeper a little bit and understand each of these opportunities or the account information deeper, we could go ahead and open this up in Dynamics if needed. Going further down, we have Brad's contact information. So we can actually dig in deeper here by clicking into Brad's name. We have My Notes. So one thing to note about this, as sellers, you might have personal notes, things that you might want to remember about a client, a customer that you're talking to. This is a great place to put all of that information in, and it will not go back to your CRM. So just things that you personally want to remember can be put in this My Notes section. At the bottom, we have contact details. So this is going to pull in all of the fields that live in your CRM, whether that be, again, Salesforce or Dynamics. And we can configure this to pull in the custom fields that you'd like, but I have a couple of basic ones showing in here. So we have job title, email, company name, and Brad's phone number. One really, really good feature is the ability to edit this record, right? So maybe I am on a call with Brad. He tells me he's not an account manager head anymore. His title has changed. Maybe he's the director of sales. I can update that job title and it'll update directly back into my Dynamics CRM. So I was able to do that without having to switch back and forth between multiple applications. I was able to stay in my flow of work and get all of that updated in just one click. Moving down, we have opportunities. So it's pulling in all the opportunities that is connected to Brad and the account that he's associated with. So similar to how we were able to edit Brad's contact information, we can open up opportunity information. It'll give us a brief cliff notes of and a summary of what's going on with this opportunity, telling me, hey, this is the estimated revenue. This is when we think the opportunity is going to close and what is it involving, right? It is the strategic investment opportunity. And again, I can go ahead and edit this record if needed. At the bottom, I can also set up a deal room. So if I wanted to collaborate on this deal with my colleague, for example, Prachi, I can open up a deal room, add her in, and then she'll be able to access all of the information about this opportunity. And then we can start working on this and hoping that we can go ahead and close this opportunity as one. So there's a lot of great information that Copilot for Sales will bring in once you connect it to your CRM. I did want to mention again, we can pull in leads, we can pull in accounts. But again, if I go into the contact information at the bottom, we have related items. This is essentially pulling in all of the conversations that I've had with Brad in the past or that might be upcoming. So it's going to take a look at any team meetings that I've had in the past or any email conversations. So if I did not want to search through Outlook, I can just take a look at the Copilot for Sales sidecar, and it'll give me all of that information as well. Another thing that I do like doing is actually actively searching for any record name from here. So if you wanted to maybe search up another customer, another contact opportunity, you can just manually type all of that information, maybe the name of the customer, and it'll pull that information right up for you as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at how now we can use Copilot to actually respond to Brad. So I can go ahead and click respond, and in a couple of seconds, you'll notice that I'll have the option to draft an email using Copilot. So you'll see the draft an email option. I can go ahead and click one of these different prompts, or I could have a custom prompt and manually type in what I want to respond with. So provide times for a call, and I can generate that response, and it'll take a couple of seconds to come up with an email draft. Quick tip that I like to give customers is, again, this is Copilot, right? This is AI. We want to make sure we're adding that human touch when we are actually sending out this email. So I definitely recommend making any personal touches, maybe taking a look at those personal notes that we had when we open up Brad's contact, adding all of that personal touch, and then sending that email out. But you'll notice how it's giving some times for scheduling a call. So what it's doing is it's taking a look at my personal calendar in Outlook and finding times when I'm available. So again, taking away that task of you actually having to open up your calendar, finding times that you're available and typing that in. Copilot is doing all of that for you. So all you can do is either make any changes. You can make it shorter. You can make it sound a little bit more formal, direct, casual, whatever you'd like. And if all of that looks good to you, you can go ahead and keep it. And then we can send this email out to Brad. Another thing, which I find extremely, extremely useful, because I do like having all of the conversations that I'm having with clients saved in my Dynamics CRM. I can go ahead and click Save to Dynamics, and I can pick, hey, do I want it saved to the account? Do I want it saved to the contact or an opportunity? And I can pick one of those, and then I can save that in Dynamics for me, and it'll be shown in the timeline section, so I can take a look at all the email conversations that I've had with Brad in the past. All right. Now that I've shown you an example of what an email from an existing customer looks like, let's take a look at an email from a customer that might not already be in our CRM. So we have an email over here that is an inquiry for investment opportunities. Now, this is Warren. I've never worked with him before, but Dynamics on the side and Copilot for Sales on the side is telling me, hey, we don't actually have this person in your CRM. Let's go ahead and add this person to Dynamics 365. All I do is click add, and it's automatically pulling in the signature information from Warren's signature of this email. And all I really need to do is go ahead and click save. Once I do that, this contact would be created in Dynamics, and then I can start adding, relating it to an account, start creating opportunities, leads, whatever you like. Now you'll notice that it's pulled in all the information, all the email conversations with Warren. We have the job title, which again, I can edit this record, open it in Dynamics, and then I can start adding my personal notes as I do start having conversations with Warren, responding to this email, and so forth. So that's everything that we can really do with Copilot for Sales in Outlook. Now I do want to transition to what we can do in Teams. So I want us to imagine that we had a follow-up inquiry with Brad or another customer, and we got on a team meeting call, right, which was recorded and transcribed. Once I do that and have that call recorded, I will be given all of this information by Copilot for Sales. So basically, this is going to be a summary of the conversation that we had. It's going to give me all of the meeting notes. So, hey, we talked about the proposal. Brad expressed that he was really disappointed with the proposal that was sent over. So we discussed maybe the competitive comparisons, management agreement. These are the action items that came out from that call. So it gives you a great overview without you having to go back and listen to the recording or you being distracted from the conversation and taking notes while you're on the call. Copilot is saving you a lot of time and giving you all of that information as soon as you're done with the call with Brad. So you'll notice that we talked about training and support, project timeline. What I use this for personally is going to be the follow-up tasks. So a great way for me to know what I need to work on. So it tells me exactly, hey, I need to go ahead and send a adjusted proposal pricing and content to Brad. I need to send him training information, some customer testimonials, and I also need to set up a follow-up meeting for this time next week. So great way for me to get started on all of those follow-up tasks. The other thing I can take a look at is the app mentions. If we didn't have any, it'll not show you anything, but if we had any competitors mentioned, you'll be able to take a look at that. But at the bottom too, you'll be able to see certain topics. So you'll notice we have a project proposal on pricing, and then we can actually open up the recording and take a look at where exactly in that recording we talked about that proposal in pricing. Then we have the sales tab, which in a couple of seconds will bring in some CRM information as needed. So again, post-meeting actions. Hey, do you want to go ahead and send a summary email to Brad right after we get off the call? Yes, I want to do that, but I also don't want to sit around, watch the recording again. I can just have Copilot draft that for me. So I'll take a couple of seconds, and based on the follow-up tasks and all of the meeting summary, it's going to draft up an email that I can go ahead and send out to Brad in just a second. All right, so it says, hey, hope this email finds you well. This is a follow-up call to the call that we had at this date about proposal and pricing. These are the follow-ups that I need to work on. So either I can go ahead and copy this and open up Outlook, or I can directly open it up in Outlook Web and send it out to Brad. So saving you a lot of time by drafting you all of those follow-up emails as well. Another beneficial feature of Copilot for Sales is being able to actually create a task within your CRM, right? So I know that I need to send training information to Brad. Let me just go ahead and create a task in Dynamics so I make sure that I'm getting this done, or maybe this is something that my coworker needs to work on. Maybe I need to send this to Prachi, so I can make Prachi the owner, connected to Brad's opportunity or his contact record, and I can create that task and be assigned to whoever I picked as the owner, making sure that we're actually getting all of that information to the customer right on time and not missing any of the things that were asked for. All right, lastly, at the bottom, we have questions. So if you think you missed anything on the follow-up, these are just summarizing all the questions that were asked during the call, questions that were asked by me as the seller and questions that my customer asked me. So another way to just double check if I missed anything in the follow-up and make sure that I get all of that information sent over to Brad. And then these are the keywords mentioned that I was referring to earlier. We're taking a look at, hey, when was Microsoft mentioned? Oh, maybe we mentioned GE. Maybe they're one of our competitors. When was this mentioned? In what context? So we can get all of that information in here, and we can, again, when we click into this, it takes us right into the part of the conversation by the timing and when it was mentioned. So we wanted to listen to the recording, we could definitely do that. And then lastly, we have the participant statistics. So this is going to be key KPIs, talk to listen ratio, switches per conversation, average pauses. So maybe let's say you have a newer seller on your team and you want to make sure that when they're having a conversation with the customer, they're doing a good job, they're listening to the customer. If it's at more of 90-10, that I know that I probably need to do a better job of listening and let the customer speak. It's a great way to see how newer sellers are doing, but also if you are already, in the company for a long time and just want to see your KPIs and how you're doing, if there's any performance improvements or coaching that you can do for yourself, this is a great way to take a look at that as well. Another thing that I do want to showcase is going to be a dashboard, very beneficial for managers. And this is something that's in preview for Copilot for Sales, but it basically will give you a dashboard showcasing the analyzed conversations, the customer insights, as well as the conversation recordings, telling you what the key KPIs are, not just for you personally, but let's say if you're a manager for your specific team. So you might have 10 sellers under you. You want to take a look at how your team is doing when they are talking to clients and customers. This is a great way to have an overview of what's going on. What are some of the mentioned brands that are toply talked about, top trending brands, sellers frequently use words, just as a manager to see if there's any coaching that you need to do for your team. moving into the sentiment analysis, we can take a look at, hey, do we have more positive sentiment when our sellers are talking to customers, or is it more negative? And if it is negative, how do we improve this sentiment, right? So another way to just dig in deeper, make sure that we're coaching our sellers and coaching ourselves to be better as well. Again, analyze conversations, analyze hours, conversation categories as well. So a lot to do. And this is in preview again. Copilot for Sales is improving. I would say every couple of weeks, Prachi and I have to enable ourselves and learn new topics. So really exciting stuff that comes with Copilot for Sales. And this is definitely very beneficial for managers as well. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is how we've incorporated Copilot in Microsoft Word. So sometimes I have a meeting coming up with a client and I don't have time to actually go ahead and start going back between applications, going to my CRM, taking a look at my notes. So I can just open up Word and open up a document, and I can say, hey, Copilot, help me prep for a pitch meeting. And I can actually reference any of the upcoming calls that I'm having with the client. Once I do that, Copilot is going to take a couple of seconds and it's going to spit out this document. So if I have an upcoming meeting and I link that to Copilot in Word, it will bring in all of that information that lives in Dynamics, right? So it's going to show us, hey, you have this meeting coming up at this time, at this date. This is the opportunity information for that meeting. Hey, it's Journey 1 Consulting. This is the expected close date. This is the opportunity name, account name, all of that information. But it's also giving me a checklist that I need to make sure that I'm preparing for, right? Hey, let's go ahead and review the current stage of this opportunity. Maybe let's confirm the meeting logistics and location, prepare for some key points that I want to discuss about this strategic investment. So it's giving me a lot that I need to be prepared for before I get on a call with Brad. If there's any additional notes that would be included in here, and then it's going to give me some action items as well. So this is one way we've incorporated Copilot to help you prep for pitch meetings or any sort of meetings that you have going on with your clients. So another way to bringing CRM data into M365 applications that you might be using on the daily. All right, with that, let's go back into our presentation. So these are some of the top 10 features to try with Copilot for Sales. There's so many, I've showed you a couple, but personally, I definitely love the summarization feature. So it helps me honestly be on track of what's happening with the client. Again, being active and actively listening to the customer conversation. But at the same time, I can go back to the meeting summary and take a look at exactly what I need to follow up on, what I need to work on, and draft that email to customer. There's so many features to explore, but again, these are some of the ones that you can start with. These range from an introduction that provides an overview of what Copilot is. We can help you with drafting an email. Another one that I personally definitely use is being able to view and update CRM information in my flow of work. So Prachi and I, we are always, going back and forth in between like calls and meetings that might be customer meetings, that could be team meetings. So we might be missing some of these meetings, but we want to update customer information, maybe opportunity information, or we want to add in notes to our CRM. We can do that as we are just going through our Outlook email, right? So I can view the sales information, I can view the contact information, but also update that while I'm just working on my Outlook emails or responding to customers. So those are some of my favorite features to try, but these are just some really great foundational skills for newer users as you are kind of dipping your toes in how to use Copilot for Sales. There's so many, again, features to explore, and we have a guide to help you get started. So we have introductions to deep dive to installations to configurations as well as onboarding. So it'll start with introduction, which hopefully this webinar was a great intro to Copilot for Sales for you, but you can also go into the website, you can understand some FAQs, Or we could go deeper dive into more of the technical questions. Hey, how is this going to work with the architecture? How is this built? How is it going to work with our Outlook system? How is the data handled? All of that we have in here linked, and then we have installation. So once you are ready to actually start using Copilot for Sales, this will give you a great overview of a deployment guide, whether that be for Dynamics or if you're using Salesforce, we have all of that information in here as well. And then we have configuration. So I showed you Copilot for Sales, and it was configured to the needs that I wanted. And I'm pretty sure every company and every organization is different. So if you wanted to customize the field, configure it to your need, we have information on that as well. And then lastly would be adoption. So we have a great adoption website kind of walking you through, hey, how do we have sales users adopt this easily? How do we get training on this? How do we get support? So all of that is in here for you to explore. But with that, our webinar comes to an end, and Prachi and I will be on here to answer any questions that you have. So please use the chat feature, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. We do see one over here asking about those learning links that I shared in the end of my presentation. And yes, we can definitely share the link in the chat. It is a really, really great website that talks about the adoption, walks you through user enablement, as well as the technical questions that if you had questions, as an admin, but even as a team's admin, whether that be how to configure the fields that we saw in the Outlook sidecar, all of that would be included in there as well. So we'll drop that link in the chat. Anything else to add, Prachi?
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of the slides that we used in today's presentation also came from that adoption website. So if you're looking to run your own learning group at your organization, you can leverage a lot of those resources and customize them as you see fit. So highly recommend that. Thank you for sharing. And I see another question popped in.
Yes, I think it was something about just kind of going deeper into our background, but I do see it being disappeared.
Okay, and now I see another question that says, how did we get the notes area of the customer linked into Outlook? So that was actually part of the Copilot for Sales sidecar experience that Aastha was showing you when you have private notes. So when you utilize Copilot for Sales, you have the ability to edit those notes, and it doesn't get linked to the CRM, so you have some private knowledge ahead of time. So that's what that was referring to. Aastha, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it is a good way because it's not going back to your CRM. It's a way for you to just have personal conversational starters. If you are going on a call with, let's say, Brad or Prachi, I just want to have notes for myself and don't necessarily want it back into my CRM for everybody else to see. So that just stays in that sidecar experience.
Awesome. We're going to hold off and see if there's any other questions. But in the meantime, I did see that disappearing question asking about our backgrounds. I can go first. I'm a technical specialist at Microsoft. Been here for a little bit over 3 years, and I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Before then, I was a data and AI solutions engineer at IBM, and I went to Georgia Tech. So that's a little bit about me. Outside of work, I like to read a lot, and I have a dog named Max. I'm going to pass it off to Aastha.
Yeah, I'm also a technical specialist at Microsoft. I've been here for about 3 years now. Prior to that, I was at Salesforce, focusing on the Sales Cloud part of things. Outside of work, I love traveling and working out. And unfortunately, I don't have a cute dog like Prachi does, but I plan to get one soon. I think we can maybe wait a minute or two for any additional questions that you guys might have. And if not, then we'll end this early.